In this box, I have the Pheyx Pro PTX-30 8-channel mixer. This thing's still sealed up. I haven't opened it up yet. I'm going to test this out. That's coming up on Thrifty AV. I love mixing boards. I have a few of them already, but I'm always willing to try out more of them. The folks at Pheyx Pro sent over this PTX-30. This is an 8-channel mixing board, has phantom power and all sorts of other features. Now this is a review sample, but I'm not being paid for this review, and all opinions in this video are my own. Let's take a closer look at this box. A lot of mixers out there that claim to be 8 channels don't have 8 fully functional channels. All 8 of these channels have XLR, they have phantom power, they have their EQ and their sends. This is fully functional 8 channels on the PTX-30. Let's get into this thing. I can smell the newness on this. It is packaged for protection with these foam sides here, so that makes me happy. And even this plastic sleeve has a little bit of bubble on it to keep it safe. Now this is a handsome unit. It is all metal in the front. Yes, the sides are plastic, but that seems to be this rugged plastic. I have no problem with that. Okay, found a couple of more things I like about it. It has an AC input with the fuse right there. That means the transformer is inside this unit. You don't have to worry about some wall wart. Also, the main outputs are XLR balanced. There's also 1/4-inch main outs on the front panel, as well as a room out for a separate monitor mix. Now I just plugged this in. Let's power this up for the first time. All right, I got a high there, some signal processing. I'll try to figure that out in a little bit. Now these bottom lights just indicate that this thing is going. There is no audio feeding through it right now. All of these sliders feel good and smooth. I'm going to check all of them and make sure they all feel good and smooth. Okay, first thing I'm noticing about these sliders, there is no indent at unity gain where it says 0 across these things. Having an indent at unity gain is a pro feature. I have one mixing board with that feature. This is my old Mackie CR1604, and these have indents at unity gain. You can feel when there is no gain on the sliders. Tascam 424, no indent. In fact, no marker for unity gain. Yamaha AW16G, no indent at 0, which is the same as unity gain. Zoom R24, also this one has no indent at 0. Tascam DP32, again, no indent at 0. Behringer Xenix 802, it doesn't even have sliders, it has knobs, and again, no indent at unity gain. So that one reviewer who complained that there is no indent at unity gain might be used to using a Mackie board, because most budget boards simply do not have that feature. I want to talk about these input jacks. This design is a design that I first saw on my Zoom R24 here. Now, I have not used this mixer yet, but I have used this design plenty on this Zoom R24, and it works fine. Now, these will accept 2 different inputs. It will accept an XLR input like so. It will also accept a 1/4-inch input. Now, the 1/4-inch input can be balanced like this one, or it can also be unbalanced. Now, phantom power is not going to work with the 1/4-inch, so with phantom power devices, you're going to need to use the XLR input. The trim range on these inputs goes from +10 dB to +60 dB. That is plenty of gain for pretty much every microphone. For line level stuff, of course, you're going to want to keep the trim a lot lower. Okay, the fixed frequency 3-band EQ has a high frequency of 12,000 hertz, plus or minus 15 dB. Mid frequency 2.5 thousand plus or minus 15 dB, and low frequency of 80 hertz plus or minus 15. when you're sending a channel through the effects processor, you might want to send a little bit of signal, or you might want to send a lot of signal. So that's what this knob does. And here is the balance. And yes, there is a little divot in the middle, so I can tell when it is centered up on the balance. There's a little light here to tell me if my signal's too hot and I am clipping. There are 99 built-in effects. I'll explore some of them in this video, certainly not all of them. You can also use a Bluetooth device when you're not using the USB, and the audio on Bluetooth is controlled with this slider right here. And like any good mixer, it has a headphone out to monitor your signal. The phantom power switch is in the upper right corner. When you turn the phantom power on, you get this plus 48 volts here, and that is the proper voltage for phantom power. Okay, I've changed things up a little bit. I'm no longer wearing my lavalier microphone hooked up to my camera. I'm speaking into an MXL 550 large diaphragm microphone that's hooked up to the PTX-30, which is in turn hooked up through balanced inputs into the line level on my camera over there. Now, I'm not really doing anything to my voice right now. This is just what this microphone sounds like with the EQ flat. Gain is pretty much set optimally, and then I'm outputting into my camera. Let's add some effect. And I believe this is effect number 0. And there are 99 of them. And this sounds like a hall reverb. Of course, I could go through and find various echoes and other effects, but I wanted to show you that you can add some reverb, add a little live sounding echo and stuff to your voice if you want to add some effects. I also have a Naviscauto CD player going over here. This is something that I'll be reviewing shortly on Thrifty AV. I'm going to add a little bit of music to this. Okay, so I have this set pretty low to try to avoid any copyright issues with this music. I've never had the issue with Bakerton Group, but you never know. This is clean on the audio. Just left and right, a line level, running into channels 7 and 8. Now, I have phantom power going with the microphone, but because I'm using 1/4 inch for the CD player, it's not gonna blow anything up because this is XLR, that's 1/4 inch. So I'm able to add music to my voice and add reverb to my voice. And this is pretty fun. I'm really enjoying the PTX-30 so far. I've switched to a lavalier mic, but I still have it running through channel 1 in the PTX-30, and this is the effects. So this is bringing in the reverb. Right now it's set to effect 0. To change effects, you turn this knob, and then the effect will take place when you hit the knob. So this is a different reverb. Let's go up a little ways. Let's try 27. And 27 is a tighter reverb. Let's see what 45 is. Check. This is a very sharp, like a small room. Let's try 56. 56 is an echo. That's kind of cool. All right, I'm going to turn off the effect now by just sliding the effects down. Now I want to talk about EQ settings for my voice. Let's boost the high frequencies, and I almost sound pretty shrill when I have the high frequencies all the way up, so I'm going to back that off. I can also boost the bass, which sometimes with a lavalier mic you might want to boost the bass a little bit. And also the mid-range, so it actually kind of sounds like a cheap mic when I turn the mid-range up too high, because cheap mics tend to be mid-rangey. Okay, now I wanted to try the Bluetooth out. I have not tried this yet. I'm going to click this button that says connect. Okay, the Bluetooth light is now blinking. Alright, I am now paired. Alright, I'm now playing some Bakerton Group off of YouTube, and I'm going to turn up the MP3 here. Let's turn it up on the phone a little bit. And now I'm using the Bluetooth feature on this mixer to add kind of a bed of music to the mix. This comes in handy, let's say, between sets. If you're mixing a band, you can just plug in your phone and play some music through the mixer while the band's on break. Okay, there is a tiny print list here that talks about what these effects are. Ooh, is that plastic to peel? Oh, plastic. And if you have a pair of reading glasses, you might be able to tell where the effects are that you want to try out. Now, I've checked out several of the features of the PTX-30, but I feel like I've barely scratched the surface. I haven't checked out the USB features. I've barely checked out the effects units. There's a lot more effects built in there. This budget 8-channel mixer has a lot to offer. But I think I should mention some of the features that you might find on a more expensive mixer that is lacking on the PTX-30. I mentioned already the lack of the indent at unity gain. There's also no direct channel access post-trim. There's no auxiliary inputs for outboard effects units, so you'll have to use the built-in effects or do it downstream from the outputs. The EQ is fixed frequency. Some folks might prefer a sweepable parametric EQ. And there is no channel solo or channel mute buttons. Personally, I'm not a big fan of solo and mute buttons because half the time there's a problem in the mix. It's one of those buttons has been pushed accidentally. I'm a fan of the clean sound, even at high gain of the PTX-30. I was impressed with the preamps built into them. This will now be my go-to mixer certainly for smaller projects and for DJ gigs, but you could even mix a band with one of these things. If you think this mixer might be good for your projects, look in the description for an affiliate link, or maybe two, not only Amazon, but I'm going to try to set up something direct through Pheyx Pro, so look for that in the description. I want to thank the folks at Pheyx Pro for sending over the PTX-30. It's a fine device you sent me. Thank you to my patrons for supporting this channel, and remember, stay thrifty, everyone.